guys, Darren TG here. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to convert your experience bar into a mana bar. So I have two different ways to do this, and don't get worried about all these command blocks. Actually, only a couple. I have more here than you really need, just for demonstration purposes. So we have a nonlinear regeneration system, which means it goes up initially really quick, and then it starts to slow down its pacing as your experience goes higher, so your mana goes higher, which I actually don't like, but it is a method that you can use if you like that. And then we have a totally linear constant system that your mana will go up at the same rate at any point in time. It will always be going up the same exact speed. So this is a system I prefer. It's the most reliable as far as being able to time things consistently in the way you want. So this is a system that I think is way, way better. But here's what the nonlinear looks like. So watch how quickly my levels go up initially, and then again we're calling this experience, we're calling this our mana now. It goes up really fast initially, but then it slows down and it gets to the point where it really is crawling. And technically what's happening here is it's giving you one mana. It's giving you one mana for every game tick. So in 1 second you're getting 20 mana. So 20 mana a second. You can give yourself more mana, but you're still going to have the same issue. Like you can change it to giving you 2 or 5 or whatever, however many mana you want. And what's going to happen, it's going to be problematic because the earlier levels are going to fly way too fast, almost skipping levels. But then the later levels will eventually still get to a crawl like this. So personally, this is not the system that I like. I prefer this system. So I'm going to reset my mana. Now this is what I like. It will constantly go up at whatever speed I decide for the entire duration. Now you can also choose any mana cap that you want. I've chosen 100 just because that's a fair, perfect number that I like. That works for me. So right now you cannot exceed 100 mana or 100 experience. So yeah, this is pretty neat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that there's another cool thing in the system. I basically implemented a feature where if you're at full mana, so 100, then you have a constant passive bonus added to you. This is really neat, and it just gives more. It gives more weight to the system because it makes that mana just that much more valuable, especially when it's fully capped. It makes it more of a decision, like, do I really want to use it? Do I want to waste a spell, or what do I want to do? Again, that's the point of this mana system. Right now, innately, there is no point unless you make systems to use the mana. But as you can see, I have a lot of systems out here that I haven't gone over yet, and a lot of them are really, really cool, and they add new spells to the game that you haven't seen before. And beyond just adding spells that are creative command blocks, you can add general effects that you use experience, aka mana, as a cost for. So you can even set it up where you go invisible, fully invisible, at a cost of say like 20 mana points, and say you have a duration of 60 seconds or something like that, or 2 minutes or whatever you want, 5 minutes of true stealth for 20 mana. Like, that's something you can very, very easily do. However, in order to do that, you would be basically using your mana as the cost. So that's why I think a system like this is cool, because without a system like this, 20 experience for anything is a lot, because it takes a decent amount of time to gain experience normally. But it just depends on what your preferences are and how you want to set up your world. Okay, so in the back here, I have another variant of this system, same exact coding, same exact thing, it's just a different tick delay. So basically, rather than giving you 1 mana every second, it gives you 1 mana over 5 seconds. So 1 mana every 5 seconds. Now this is substantially slower, but my friends and I have found that this is actually more fair and less spammy in the context of like using systems and spending mana to access abilities. This is just it makes it feel more impactful, more of like a choice. Like, do I want to spend that mana because it's going to take a little bit to replenish? I think it's important to create a system that actually has some ups and downs and costs associated with it. So we found that with the faster regeneration, you would use a spell, and by the time the spell was done, it was almost fully regenerated, which kind of offset the cost of the spell to begin with. But with a slower regeneration rate, then it really makes that cost stick a lot more, so that the whole system is just more pricey as far as decisions, and it's much more impactful what decisions you make, and like when you use spells. So you just can't spam spells. So yeah, and that also makes it that much more valuable for when you're at 100, which when you have your buff, you have to consider, do I really want to use a spell right now, or should I wait and save it for when I want to use it? So yeah, I'll go over all those systems in the coming videos. I'm not sure when I'll be able to get to them, but soon. So yes, now as for the mana system itself, let's go over that. So we're going to turn... Okay, yeah, this one off. I was like, which one's on? Yeah. Turn that off. Now I want to show you the passive regeneration. I think one of them is always active, right? Oh no, it was still going up. Okay. So basically, let me give myself 98 levels, and I'll show you what my passive looks like. Oh my god. Okay. I'll go up like 97 or so. Okay. So now, in 2 more levels, I will gain my new passive, and this I think is really, really neat. So here's what that looks like. Okay, so now I'm reaching my passive, and now, as you can see, my food is just automatically replenished, and I'm fully saturated, and my food will never deplete. So long as I stay mana capped, my food will stay capped as well. So I can sprint and jump forever, and I'll never be slowed down, I'll never have to eat food. And I think that's a really cool benefit to being topped off with your mana. So that's pretty cool. You guys can choose any effect you want, or multiple effects, but this is the effect that I think makes the most sense and is not too overpowered. Okay, so here we're going to look at the codes. So you're going to pick one of these systems. It's only three blocks. That's it. Whatever mana system you choose, it's only 3 blocks, so it's really small. So here's the non-linear scaling, which is when it's like slow. It starts off fast, but then it gets really slow. So repeat, unconditional. We would do always active. If you're actually going to pick this one, you would do always active. Like this, and currently it's actually affecting me right now. So you would do repeat, unconditional, always active. Here's a command, and then you have to stop the sound, this particular sound. So chain conditional, always active, and here's the command. If you don't do this, what will happen is the player will constantly hear the leveling up sound as the mana goes up. Which will become really annoying to the player and kind of frustrating. So that's something you want to stop. Also, if you want all players to have access to the system without question, then just delete this tag mana at the end. Like just delete everything after the A. Okay. So in my server with my friends, what I've implemented is a system where they can opt into the system at a cost, and I'm going to show you how to do that too. So they can buy this as an upgrade if they want to, but they might not want to, so I don't want to force it on them. So they can make whatever choice they want in that regard, or they can keep their experience just as is. So I prefer to target players who want to be using the system with tag equals mana, but if you don't, just delete everything after A and you're good to go. That will affect all players. They'll be on the mana system. And again, here you want this to only, if you're going to use the mana system and have the mana targeting tag, then you would do tag equals mana here as well, because otherwise this would stop that sound from happening at all players, and you don't want that. You only want that to affect people who have the mana active. Alright, so now here is how we create a mana gap. Repeat, unconditional, always active, no text of delay. Now this is actually saying -1L, that's an L right there. So basically, once a player reaches 101, they get a level taken away instantly, so you never see that. It always looks like it's 100 to you. Again, we're going to use a tag mana. So that's how you make the first system if that's what you want to do. And then, or you can make the constant the linear regen system that I prefer, that I think is way better, and it's way more, it's way easier to calculate how long it will take to get to max level, max mana. So here, repeat unconditional, we would change this to always active. I'm going to turn this one off now because I don't want both active currently. Okay, so we would change that to always active. Again, the ticks will determine how quickly it goes up. So by default, if you put 0 in here, the fastest a command block will operate is 20 commands a second. So if I did not put this in here, this delay, every second I would gain 20 levels, so 20 experience. Yeah, I don't want that. That's way too fast for anything I would ever want. But if you want that, that's great. So 20 ticks is a second, so if I want this to go up every second, then I would put 20 ticks. Of course, if you want to go up every 2 seconds, you just use 40, and just do the math from that point on to figure the rest out. Of course, 10 ticks would be half a second. So, yep, again, we're targeting the player with mana, same as before. If you don't want that, then you can remove everything after A, and do that for all the commands. Just take this whole tag out. I'm not going to say that again. Once again, we're going to stop that sound at all the players, and that's chain conditional, always active. Okay, and then same exact command as before. This one is just going to level cap them at 100. Okay. Looking at this, I think there's one thing I wanted to say. Oh yeah, just so in case you didn't know, that's definitely an L. It's not like a capital I or something. That's an L. So 1 level, it gives you 1 level. Now here's how the passive works. So repeat unconditional, always active, and now the passive will be applied. And we're basically giving the player a saturation for 1 second once they're level 100 or mana 100, mana capped, and at a power level of 250, which is max. So they get max food regen for the entire duration that they are mana capped. And true removes the particles, so there's no annoying particles. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you would do it if you wanted to sell this as an upgrade to players in your realm or server. Very, very simple. I'll show you that quickly. I actually want to disable this block so it's not always running, so I can show you. So we're gonna just set this to needs redstone, and I'm actually going to go ahead and set all of these to needs redstone just for an example I have coming up that will be useful to you. And actually I can get rid of this one, and let's see, what's the coordinates of this block? So block, I just have to change the command. Okay, so minus 80. Okay, I'll show you this in a second. Okay, so when I finish the video, we're nearing almost 14 minutes. Okay, so right now I don't have enough money, but so unlock min upgrade at 20k. First I need to remove the tag because I have the tag currently. Remove tag. Okay, my tag is removed. You can see the alert top left. So if I try to buy, it will not let me because I do not have enough credits, and I want to buy this upgrade. It's 20k. So this is exactly what a player would encounter on my server. If they want to upgrade their experience to a mana system, unlock a mana upgrade, then it would cost 20k. So in this, I'm just going to show you what happens if you do have 20k. Now I have 20k, and when I click it, mana upgrade permanently unlocked, and then it alerts me when you are at full mana, 100, you will gain passive saturation, meaning your hunger will automatically replenish. So if you want to look at what those codes look like quickly, again, this is just a simple buying system, and make sure I have enough money or it won't work. We have obviously empowerment with the button. Power passes through to the comparator, which passes to the block, which tests my money. Impulse unconditional needs redstone. Here's the command, and here we just type the amount of money we want to test for. This acts as a minimum, so it will, so long as you have at least this much, it will work. You don't need any further coding. Now we have to put one comparator off to the side, and then a redstone repeater at full tick delay right here. So that's full delay. And now we have a command block that's testing 2 have two different command blocks here that are going to test. One is going to test if this is powered, and one is going to test if this is unpowered. So now I need to get the coordinates of this exact comparator and plug those coordinates into these blocks. So impulse unconditional needs redstone, so we plug those new coordinates into here, and then if it is powered, plug those coordinates into here. Again, impulse unconditional needs redstone, plug those coordinates into here. So basically, if you don't have enough money, this will turn off, and then this chain will run, which is your negative feedback loop, which means you don't have enough money. So if we don't have enough money, these are all chain conditional always active. Here's the command. It doesn't have to be red, it can be any color text, white, doesn't matter. If you don't know how to do color text, again, look it up. Chain conditional always active. Here's the command. Okay, these are all chain conditional always active, by the way. If they're not, then your system is broken and it's going to give you stuff when you shouldn't get it. So once it determines that it is a power comparator, then it will send a signal down here, chain conditional always active. I'm not going to say that again. So scoreboard players, blah, blah, blah. Now we're going to pay the money, 20K. Now we're going to give the upgrade. Literally, the upgrade is just getting this tag. So the tag is the upgrade because it enables the system for that player. And then now we'll play the positive sound for positive reinforcement, like yay, you got a new thing unlocked. And yeah, so here's a message that we're going to send to the player via the action bar. It just makes it feel more satisfying to have all this feedback when you use the system in game. And now this will alert a message directly to the player, and it will actually use their name the way this is coded. So it will say like Dan Riley CG, blah blah blah, and so on. And we'll do that for any player who uses the system. Okay, so that's how you would apply the tag to yourself. And now that I've purchased it through that system, if the system was activated, of course it would work for me. Because now I purchased that upgrade, I have it. If I was to remove the tag for myself, like this, clearly you can see my mana stopped going up, it stopped working because I don't have it anymore. But if I don't have enough money, if I did have enough money, I could buy it, and now I have the tag, and now it will go up again. So that's very straightforward, that's how it works. Yeah, that's a pretty neat system. Now, here's a quick thing I'm going to go over quickly. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this video done under 20 minutes. I don't want this to be any longer than it should. Now, say you have a bunch of players on your server who are using the mana system and a bunch who aren't. There's a cool way that you can set to just disable these extra command blocks when you don't need them. So you would change all of these to needs redstone, and like this, so needs redstone. And I'm going to copy this to here, and I'm going to remove my tag. Okay, so now we're going to do test for at a tag equals mana, and repeat unconditional always active, no tick delay. So basically what's going to happen is it's going to test for when there's a player in the game who has this mana tag, which means if there is a player in the game who has that mana tag, we need to enable the mana systems. So rather than having all these blocks constantly running and bogging down any server or realm even a little bit, we have one command block running instead. You can even just have this on a slight delay, and that's fine. But I would just keep it 0. So now, when I add the tag to myself, it will detect me, and here you're just going to set redstone blocks anywhere you need them. So you can just set the redstone block next to each block that needs redstone, and that will activate it. And then just like this, so I set it next to all the blocks and just found the coordinates. These are just chain conditional. I can even make them unconditional because we want them all to activate without question. I mean, it will happen anyway. And then here we're just going to fill. I just filled in a line and I replaced the redstone blocks with air. So what happens is when it no longer detects a player with that tag, it will turn on this system right here, which just turns these redstone blocks back to air. And that's the command for doing that. Okay? So again, that's impulse unconditional needs redstone and the torch. So basically, when this torch is powered, it's off. But as soon as no player is detected, this stuff turns off and the torch turns back on, disabling it. So here's what that looks like in practice. Right now, I don't have the tag, so the system is currently offline, so none of these command blocks are running at all. And again, on your server, you would delete this, you wouldn't have this, you wouldn't have this. You would literally just have this and this. So it's a very, very tiny system, This is way bigger than it really is. It's just so you guys can understand your options. So if I did have that tag, they automatically appear, system is activated, and now the mana is running. Now say I disconnected from the game and the other people playing the game don't have the mana system. If that was the case, the second I leave the game, it's kind of hard to see because it will happen instantly. But the second I remove the tag for myself, it's gone. The system is disabled, and it's a very smart system. So yeah, that's everything. I try to be as quick as possible and just make sure you understand everything. Let me know if you enjoyed this content, if it was helpful. Again, I'm going to be coming out with a bunch of systems in the future that will be using mana or XP at the very least. So you don't need the mana system to use my future systems, but it's just a cool option to have. And honestly, if you do use a mana system, then you're probably going to want to make the systems that I show you in the future more expensive because mana will be, the experience will be like more accessible to the player, of course. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate your support. Please like, subscribe, follow, comment, do all that stuff. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any recommendations for what you would like to see or any systems you have ideas for and you want me to try to do, ask away. Alright, thanks guys. Goodbye.